Hey, this is Carol Tice from Community Growth Academy on Skool. And if you really want to learn how to level up your life, you should be listening to the Time to Shine Today podcast with my friend Scott Ferguson. Let's level up.
Are you ready to level up? Do you wish to live a life of options and not obligations? You've come to the right place. Thank you for stopping on by to hear knowledge nuggets from Coach Fergie and his top-tier guest to help you lean into your ultimate human potential. Now, let's level up with Coach Fergie.
Hey, Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. Welcome back to another powerful edition of Time to Shine Today podcast. I'm your host, Coach Fergie. Blessed to be your gap coach, specializing in peak performance mental conditioning, working with business leaders, entrepreneurs, entertainers, athletes, C-suite, and students to help them bridge their success gap to live a life of options and not obligations. On this platform, we are stoked to bring you high performers who are not just chasing and attaining success, but redefining it through providing above and beyond service. And most people, the knowledge that I'm going to drop this week, squad, is it might hit a little different, right? I'm just going to call it stop renting attention and start owning relationships. Because if you know my background, I do have the real estate background, and renting and owning is a couple different things. But most people build their businesses borrowed land, social media followers, algorithm driven reach, likes, views, vanity numbers. That's rented attention. And the landlord can change the rules anytime they want. One update, one shadow ban, one platform shift, and poof, your audience is gone. Owning relationships is different. That's when people choose to stay. When they raise their hand and say, I'm in. When they're part of something bigger than content, that's where impact lives, and income follows impact. I saw this firsthand with a coaching client of mine, high performer, big goals, tons of knowledge, but he was spinning his wheels trying to get louder on social media, more posts, more hustle, more noise, yet no real traction. So we flipped the strategy. Instead of chasing attention, we built a small private group, a place where his people could show up, talk, be seen, be coached. No algorithms, no fighting for reach, just real connection. Within months, his confidence went up, his clarity went up, his revenue went up, but more importantly, he stopped feeling like he was performing for strangers and started leading a tribe. That's the shift, squad. So don't rent attention, own relationships, because when people belong to you, you're no longer chasing them. They're walking beside you. And squad, talking about building relationships. Today's guest didn't build a community. She built a movement, then sold it. Carol Tice is a creator and founder of Freelance Writers Den, a 1,500-member paid community that generated over $6 million and ran strong for a full decade. She didn't stumble into that success. She engineered it. From zero to a thriving paid ecosystem before online communities were even the buzzword that they are today. Now she's back at it again, teaching coaches, experts, and passionate creators how to build powerful paid communities of their own through Community Growth Academy Skool. That's Skool. This is which we're going to dive into it. If you're following on Venmo or YouTube, we're going to dive into that school a little bit while we're here. But this is where business meets belonging, where audience turns into tribe, where knowledge turns into income. And here's the best part. Carol runs this whole operation while traveling full-time in her RV across the Western United States and maybe other places as well. I know where she's at now. I'm not going to give her locate around, but I know where she's at, and it's very envious of her. No office, no commute, no permission required, just total lifestyle freedom built from smart systems, real value, and a community done right. So if you ever wondered how to turn your expertise into a scalable paid community, or like I like to say, live the laptop lifestyle. Yes, if you ever wanted that business to support your life instead of trapping it, then buckle up, because I'm going to bring on my really good friend here, Carol Tice. And Carol, thank you so much for coming on. Please introduce yourself to the Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. But first, what's your favorite color and why?
It's really green to the point that my engagement band is actually an emerald, not a
Oh my
diamond.
gosh, that's awesome. That's beautiful
So,
too. How long have you been married?
44 years in October.
That's amazing.
And yes, I was a child bride. Thank you for asking.
I was going to say, I was going to go there. I was going to say, were you 12? But too much. But no, it's amazing. I'm so glad that we connected. Like, one, because you've which I didn't even really bring up. You've ghost written books. You did like it all. Like, you are a total go-to for people. But I got to ask you, like, be honest here. Like, what's harder, growing a paid community from zero or finding reliable Wi-Fi in the middle of the desert?
Definitely growing the community, because have Starlink will travel. I have no problem.
Right.
I have no
love it.
problems there.
I love it. So you've built communities before and sold it. It had a lot of revenue, sold it. And community is like that trendy buzzword right now.
So hot.
Tell me, like, what is, before we get into a little bit more of your background, but what is the ugly part that nobody sees? The moment you almost said, this might not work.
The ugly part is if you let it, it can be really all-consuming.
Sure.
You have to control how much you are giving in the community, or you just wake up every morning and think, oh my God, I have 1,500 needy children and I care about all of their success and I need to be on all day talking to them, and it will eat you. But the flip side is I know community founders who I've coached who spend almost no time. They might spend 3 hours a month showing up live, and they have other moderators answering questions. And it's one of the things I love about paid communities. You can dial up or down your
Yeah.
involvement level.
And unless you just say something blatant or letting way too much shady stuff happen, they can't really shut it down. Like it's like I've explained, like I know friends that were big influencers and they got shut down because of one thing or even a comment. That's why I always went the email marketing route. Building my list up is unless I'm spamming, they can't shut me down. They're going to
Right.
deliver and
And
stuff.
yeah, but if you're on a Facebook group, like they just random ban people.
Thank
I
you.
have some people in Community Growth Academy that are on Facebook groups now that we're going to get them out of there because, yeah, I'm scared for them.
Yeah, you make someone mad from the wrong person, they can just shut you down. And with that,
Yeah.
if you've, like you said, built time and you were like all your bandwidth was going into a community and they shut it down, it's like that's just gone, right?
Yeah.
But I got to dig in a little bit of your background because we had a little bit of a chat before, like William Morris. Like you did some really awesome stuff, Carol. Talk to me about your come up, where you kind of started, and then how you got to the point where you're building revenue generating groups. So tell us a little bit about your backstory.
I started working as a secretary as my day job to support my rock and roll singer-songwriter dreams.
Really? Okay.
That's where I started in writing, was in songwriting. And I was playing clubs in LA in like my 20s, and
Oh,
around hitting 30, as a musician, you face a moment of truth because your odds that you're going to become a huge international superstar are getting low.
right.
It's really a young person's game. And you have to ask yourself if you'd be happy being what Bob Seger was for 20 years, like a regional act, just kind of subsistence play in your town where
Yeah,
people know and love you, and it never gets any more than that.
right.
And back when I was doing it, there wasn't Spotify and stuff. You had to get a record deal, and then I entered and won an essay contest about how hard it is to make it in LA as a musician,
Wow.
and I never looked back. I was like, "Oh, a kind of writing you can do without worrying whether your drummer will take the overnight party bus to Vegas instead of showing up at the gig, or
Right.
psychedelic mushrooms, and I have total control over what I'm doing." Tell me more. I just really went that direction, literally gave my recording equipment away to people and was like, I found a kind of writing they just pay you for. They paid me $200 for that essay, and I was like,
Yeah.
my life changed forever.
Without divulging, was this like 70s, 80s time frame?
This is like early 90s
Oh, early 90s. Okay. Gotcha.
kind of time, I think, or
Okay.
89. And I always say I'm like the last person they let
Oh,
in
you
the
said
door as a
rocker. Okay. Yeah.
reporter without a
Okay.
J school degree. I really learned it on the job, writing for
That's
the
so
alternative
cool.
press and then for the
Yeah.
Seattle Times.
Wow.
And then I got a couple of staff jobs, staff reporting jobs. I
Mhm.
covered home improvement retailing in the Western region for a trade
Okay.
publication, very glamorous work, going to hardware stores and lumber yards and talking to lumber
I love that
guys.
you say that with a straight face. That's just
Yeah,
awesome.
very high glamour.
Right.
And then I wrote for the Puget Sound Business Journal as a staffer for 7 years, covering my own town of Seattle because I wanted to get off the road. I had more young kids.
Mhm.
And then, and I loved that job, thought I was never going to leave. And then the editorial stuff turned over, and the party was over there.
Right.
And I was the most highly paid reporter, and they started looking at the budget, laid me off. And I thought I would get another job, but I started freelancing again, which I had done before, and it just went really well. And I was making like I surpassed my staff writer income
Okay.
and grew my freelance writing income to six figures during the 0809 downturn
Sure. Yeah.
and started blogging about what I was doing. And I was very excited by blogging, which was very hot then.
Yeah.
And for me,
Easing
after
back then, was it easing?
no, my own
No.
blog.
Oh, okay. Got it. Okay.
After 12 years of having editorial gatekeepers, being able to just hit the publish button,
Right.
amazing. I was
Right.
in. And so I wanted to become a really good blogger and figure out how to monetize it and stuff. So I joined a community for bloggers
Okay.
and I loved it. I was like, oh my God, this is amazing. I'm learning so much. Their courses are great. Being able to talk to other people who are going on this journey, who are
Community.
in the same place I
Yes.
am, is so amazing. I feel so less alone. And there ought to be something like this for freelance writers. And I feel like really there isn't.
Right.
And then I sat with that for, I want to say 18 months or a couple years
Right.
until I went to the late Liz Strauss's Successful Online Business Conference in Chicago,
Okay.
SobCon, and got very inspired and came home very fired up to just put the hammer down and launch it.
Okay.
I'm a very non-technical person, so that was the sticking point for me.
A
I
little
was like,
challenge. Yeah.
I knew how to operate my blog on WordPress, but I knew it
Right.
was a lot more complex and that I didn't know how to do it. And I ended up hiring the people from that blogging community to put it up.
Okay.
And in 90 days, the doors were open. So I'd been building audience with my blog for a couple of years,
That's
had a
awesome.
list,
Yeah.
and we went to about 500 members fairly quickly and then got stuck. There were
Mm-hmm.
two sort of sticking places where we plateaued. And that was the first one. And one of my mentors was like, my dear, you need to close the doors and make it more exclusive and scarce.
Ooh.
And
Yeah.
I had seen communities that were like, we are only open one day a year. That
Right.
is when you can join. And so I knew about it, but I was like super scared to do it because I don't like to disappoint people. And I felt that then people will come and they won't be able to join and they want
Right.
to. And
Sure.
but we did it, and that's what drove it to 1,000.
Okay.
And then we were only open like 4, 6 times a year for brief periods.
To let people in.
Yeah, to
Okay.
let new members in.
Gotcha.
It
Okay. I
really
got
works
you.
administratively too, because otherwise you're continuously onboarding new people and it's a
Mm,
real energy drain.
sure.
And that allowed us to really focus on members more. So it was a
Slow
win-win.
grow. You believe in the
And
slow grow, like throughout most of the stuff that you do? Like I coach from kind of inch by inch, it's a cinch, right? By the yard, it's hard. So are you like to lean into the slow grow when it's needed for something that's going to last?
I think at both of those levels for a while, I was okay with that level. I was like, okay, I have 1,000 members. That's like more than I
Yeah.
ever imagined this would go to. And sometimes you're staffing up. Like I had a staff of 10 eventually
Nice.
behind the scenes, but eventually you're like, we should grow more. And
Right.
I think around 1,000 members is when I started to get approached about selling it.
Okay.
And also, we created a lot of courses, so
Sure.
maybe we're plateaued, but I'm busy making a course. Got other things on my mind. But I started to get approached, and having been a business reporter, I knew M&A existed. I knew companies get acquired.
Sure.
And at the time, I wasn't really thinking about it. I was still to it and loving the lifestyle it was giving us. My husband actually developed a seizure disorder, right? And that was another impetus for me launching
Sure.
it, was
Right.
that I was trying to replace his income, which I way more than did.
That's
And
great.
I I don't know, I had bought a 5-bedroom house on Lake Washington in
Sure.
Seattle, and
Yeah.
I had a lifestyle it was supporting. I wasn't thinking about it, but I was like, "What's your?" I started quizzing these people who'd approach me. What's your process like? When and they're like, "We send you this sheet to fill out." I was like, "Yeah, send it to me," and started learning about what you need to do to sell a digital business.
Okay.
Things I was not doing, like taking myself out of the branding
Thank
and
you.
having,
Thank you. Thank you. Yes. Like you
yeah,
don't see
every
Scott
time.
Ferguson anywhere. I'm going to sell this thing one day. And that's bottom
That's
line.
right.
Yeah.
That is right.
So,
When
right.
you every time I go to a coach's website and it's named theirname.com, I just die a little
Yep.
inside. I
Me
cry
too.
because I know they have a non-saleable business. They are the business. They
Yeah.
go on vacation. They're not getting paid. It's a bad situation.
Sure.
And monthly P&L sheets, I wasn't doing those. The business was throwing off lots of cash. I knew there was
Sure.
money left for me. I was paying a lot of bills and paying a big payroll, and it all seemed to be working out, but I'm not a numbers person. I'm a
Right.
word person. I'm a writing
Yeah.
person. So I wasn't all, let's run the spreadsheets on how we're trending.
Links and stuff. Yeah.
Yeah, things
Okay.
like what's the lifetime value of one of your members and
Right. So you
stuff.
put that together, and did somebody approach you, or did you put it out to them?
Multiple people approached me.
Okay.
And then I hit another point in my life a couple years down the road where kids were nearing graduating high school. We were starting to think about downsizing. And I was starting to think I had taught what I knew. Like everything, every molecule of information I had about how to get better writing clients and get a raise and do well-paid kinds of writing and stuff was created.
Okay.
And I felt a sense of an ending, like I'd created what I could, and that maybe we could retire was my thought at the time.
Everyone thinks that sometimes.
I
Yeah.
have flunked retirement, spoiler, but so I got approached by a broker who just, I felt like I liked them and like they could actually sell my business.
Okay.
They only did digital business. They had experience with the type of business I had. They had a deep bank of business buyers that
Sure.
they had a lot of contacts.
Did they find you, or did you seek them out? I forgot.
I think they dinged me.
Okay, gotcha.
I think they reached out to me.
Okay.
And others had reached out to me and I
Sure.
blew them off because they were whatever, one of those online business marketplaces where all the businesses sell for $20,000.
They marketed it and it got acquired then?
In the depths of COVID winter. It was a lot of fun.
Wow. And that's when it was needed, like the good stuff.
It was a great time to sell my business. And
Sure.
people need to understand that every businesses have a life cycle and they have inflection points where they're more attractive and less attractive. And my joke about freelance writing is that every time the economy goes down, if 1 million people get laid off, a quarter of them now want to be a freelance writer.
Right.
They're like, I'm done working for the man. I hate this. I got laid off again. This is my third time and I love writing. I'm gonna do that. So yeah, so membership was going up. So my charts were looking good. That graph was heading up and to the right the way you want it. And it was a good moment to do it. It was also, of course, incredibly bizarre and terrifying moment in all our lives. And this is like late 2020. So we're at the point where we've realized that everyone is not willing to go stay inside for 6 weeks and this is not going to just quickly disappear. And we're going into another winter time. And it was so stressful. I actually moved out of my house and went into an isolation chamber. We had a rental unit in our basement and I moved. It didn't happen to be rented at the time and I moved into it.
Okay.
Because my family is a lot with 2 of our kids. Really all of them are special needs. And 2 were still at home. And I was just like, I cannot do your thing right now. I am going away. Because when you're selling a business, you have 2 full-time jobs.
Sure. Yeah.
You're selling the business is a full-time job and running the business, which you have to keep doing
sold a couple
really
businesses.
well.
I get it. Yeah, absolutely.
So that the numbers keep looking great and you're going for several months. More data is going to keep coming. So you have these 2 very demanding full-time jobs and every minute the brokers are asking you more questions. The buyers are asking more questions that you don't know the answers to.
So eventually it got, because we got to push it along here. You sold it and you're kind of moving on. So I got to ask you something. There's coaches and experts out there that are listening in right now. I'm blessed to have my competition listening because I listen to their stuff as well. They want to build communities, right? But they're stuck at 0. If you had to start again today with no list, no brand, no audience, what are the first 3 moves that you would do?
It depends on whether you have an audience or you don't.
I said no audience.
So if you don't have an audience, you need to be building one. You need people to talk to who know and trust you and would love to be in that community with you. Not necessarily tons of them. When I launched Freelance Writers Den, I had 500 subscribers to my blog. But a decent chunk of them that you can talk to, because the first thing you're going to do is survey them and find out if they'd like a community with you. And if so, what should be inside it and what would they pay for it? And then you're going to build it based on what they told you. And then you're building in public, telling them about what you're trying. What do you think of this logo? What about this name for the community? And then the open is basically along the lines of that thing we've been talking about that you told me you wanted. It's open now and you can join it.
I love that. I love that.
Yeah.
Hear that, squad? Like if she was to go back to zero, I love it because you're never going to outperform your inner circle. That's the bottom line. That's why the people you hang out with are very important in the networks that you build. So when she said that if she had to go to zero, find people that you know and trust and start there and then survey them what they'd be looking for in a community and then just get to building it. She dumbed it down so much. Obviously, there's a bazillion steps that are in there as well, but you know that she knows her stuff because she just racked that out there. That's beautiful. So, Carol, let's talk a little bit about money. Okay, like most creators underprice, overgive, and they burn out. They a lot of times it's and I'm all about give until it hurts so good. And I was one of those people. So this is a question for me as well. But what's the biggest pricing or value mistake community builders make? And how might they fix it?
The thing is, Scott, is that paid community works the opposite way of most coaching and consulting, where you're hearing that mantra, you need a $10,000 offer. You need to get $10,000 clients. You need to get
Right.
them to pay all
Yes.
of it in
Right.
advance. You're going after big sales. And I don't know, as someone who was raised very lower middle class, that so felt uncomfortable to me. And that was one of the reasons I fell in love with paid community. I don't come out of marketing, I come out of journalism. Marketing is not my idea of a good time. And I
Yeah.
learned how to do it, obviously, but it's not my idea of fun. And I would rather spend more time helping my people, actually doing the helping and coaching and teaching and running courses. And so it's $25 a month, no obligation, leave anytime,
Sure.
is a lot easier to sell.
Right.
And it
100%.
uses the power of low price to drive mass adoption. And I'm confident with my particular audience, freelance writers, like so many of those people are brokey broke. I'm so confident that I made oodles more money
Yeah.
with
Yeah.
the paid community structure
Yes, the lower price point that you can
than I
always
would have.
graduate them to other things, but the lower price point to have them stick around, participate in the community and
Right.
bounce ideas. I love that, Carol. Keep
Yeah.
going. Sorry.
And
Yeah.
the amazing thing that's happening now that I have finally plunged into is free community, and you upsell them from there.
Yes.
And I was raised in an era of online business when free was a don't do free. Every mentor I had, do not do free, do a $1.99 ebook, not free ebook, make them open their wallets, get them buying from you. You don't want to do free. I had that pounded into my head. And I could only sit around Skool watching people make 2 million a year off their free communities before I went, maybe there's something to this.
Yeah.
And the thing is that
Love
the
this.
free community level addresses the trust crisis that we are all in now. And so the funny thing is, I didn't really take my own advice launching Community Growth Academy. I actually signed on with one of my mentors' teams. They are experts at Facebook ads and conversion from them. And we were going to build the audience with Facebook ads because this is a pivot for me from serving freelance writers to serving people who want to build communities. And we quickly built a list of 5,000 people and it converted zero. Like
Okay.
maybe one person joined.
Okay.
So little.
Wait a minute.
And
Like you built a community of 5,000 people and only
no, we built a list off
a
the ads,
list. Got you. Okay.
people who got my free case study
Okay.
on
Got you.
how I built Freelance Writers Den,
Sure.
and it converted like zero.
Okay.
And it is because people who come in off ads do not really know you and they
Your
don't
number one
necessarily
thing. What did you
buy from
say?
you.
Know and trust. Yeah.
So I thought they could jumpstart my audience and I could skip that step of slowly building it and we could
Yeah.
go fast, and it did not work.
Right.
And then I got to step back and look at what was really going on in the community space and in the coaching space. And I opened a free level for Black Friday weekend as an experiment to see what would happen. The community just tripled in size
Love it.
instantly.
Yes.
And then Hormozy, the head of Alex Hormozy at
Oh,
Skool,
Alex, yeah.
says
Good guy.
these people convert 25%. So you get these people in where they see your conversations, they see the help you're giving people, and that is how they come to know and trust you
Right.
now. So I never thought I would love free in my lifetime. This
Right.
has been amazing, but you have to stay open-minded
Yeah.
because the climate changes.
Absolutely.
Things change.
Absolutely. Like Gary Vaynerchuk, Gary's always jab, right hook. He even wrote a book or left hook.
Yeah.
Maybe it was left hook for him. I'm a righty though. But it's like you give, and then once they like in trust, once that trust hits, right, then you can lay out, hey, I have this parts of it. That's why I even give a free hour of power, maybe even two for coaching clients, so they can see how I can like I'm more interested in them than they'll ever be in me. And everybody knows what they want. They just don't know how to talk themselves into it. And I'm not a consultant. I would never be like, hey, Carol, do it this way. You'd be like, you're an idiot, Ferguson. But if I know that the challenge is there, my superpower is curiosity, I'm going to ask questions to unlock that challenge because the answer's in there. So, but it's giving. And then sometimes.
Well, and that's my marketing angle,
Yes,
because
right.
I'm not a selly hard sell person. A lot of our courses we would do, the first session's free, just come to it.
Love
And
it.
then we'd say, do you see the shortcut this would give you?
Right.
You want to stick around for the rest of this? If so, sign up.
Yeah.
Period, the end. So
beautiful. And then you so simple. I can't wait. Like I'm embarrassed I'm not in your group. I will be today. But so a harder question here, not hard, but it's just there's so many fake community gurus out there. I would love to say their names, but I'm just not that guy. But in your opinion, what separates a real, sustainable, paid community from a short-term hype group that dies in 6 months? Because there's so many people that back in 2015, that's what I ask some of my clients. They're all about the dollar and making that dollar. Like all those people back in 2015 and 16 that were leaning on Lambos, right? Where are they now? And if you go through and you find them, like no judgment against them, right? But they're working at a job, right?
I know someone who's on like their third iteration of trying to be some kind of thing. And
so what do you see that separates them because I know that you give the free community and stuff like that, but what else is there? Is it consistency within the community? What really separates them?
I love that you asked this question, because there's a lot of communities out there that have 100% turnover. Just people come, they leave, they come, they leave, because there's not enough there. There's either not engagement with the community people actually talking to each other, supporting each other. That's the community part. If that's not there, people feel like I could just go buy some $15 course off Teachable to do this.
Sure.
They're not getting that. The other thing is just real expertise, actual experience. What I learned around the community spaces, there's a whole lot of people in my space who their expertise is they have set up communities for other people. They want to, and their gambit is they want to get hired to set up your community.
Sure.
I don't want to set up your community. I want to help you understand who's out in the marketplace that you're going to be competing with. What is your unique angle that connects with money in the marketplace? And you can build it any way you want. I can help you hire people to do it, but I'm not trying to get a job from you.
Right.
And there seems to be a lot of that. And the other thing is there's always two kinds of experts in the digital world ever since the internet began. And that is, I actually have expertise already. I am years ahead of you. And there's learn along with me. I just did this 1 minute ago, and now I'm going to do this, and we can all do it together. And they don't really know any more than you do. And I think you see a lot of turnover and flameouts in those kind of communities.
The learn along with me communities, a lot of flameouts. Got it. Okay.
Yeah, because there just isn't a depth of knowledge there.
Yeah.
Either.
Yeah.
And just how much are you talking to members, listening to members, polling members? You don't just poll your people before they join. Once they're in, you have another polling group. Why are you here? What are you liking? What could we add that would make you love it more?
Yeah.
When people leave the community, we used to poll them. We'll give you another free month if you'll just tell us what's going on for you. And we added features.
Love it.
Based on things we got from them.
If you were to get in that DeLorean with Marty McFly from Back to the Future, and went back to the Double Deuce, the 22-year-old Carol, like what would you drop on her as a knowledge nugget for her? Not to change too much, but to maybe help her shorten her learning curve and like kind of blast through like maybe quicker. What would you drop on the 22-year-old Carol?
I don't know. It would have to be 32-year-old me, because 22-year-old me was just into rock and roll.
Yeah.
I was not thinking I'm going to be an entrepreneur. Like I was going to put out records or something. But the big story of my life is that you can do business your way. If everyone out there is having $10,000 offers, that means there's an opportunity for you to do something different that there's an audience for, likely, that no one is appealing to. And just, I guess the other thing I would just say is community is going to be everything in the future.
Yes.
32-year-old me could not have imagined how the rise of internet and devices would make us feel disconnected and alone.
Yes.
And so much, and community is what people need. It's one of the things I love about RV life is that RV community is amazing.
Yeah.
You should see everyone at the place I met
fun.
now, talking to each other, going on hikes together, going out paddling
Like, get off
together.
that podcast. Let's go. You'd see them, right? So
Totally. Yeah.
how about
Yeah. This morning I was out letting someone try out my paddleboard because they're thinking about buying
nice.
one.
Yeah, that's how your vibe attracts your tribe, right? That's just how it is. Carol, how do you want your dash remembered? That little line in between your incarnation date and your expiration date, your life date and your death date, on your tombstone or however you're going to be buried or whatnot. But what do you want that dash to say?
I always said it was going to say regular meals when my kids were younger because my husband isn't that good at remembering to do that. But my Facebook says wife, mother, and out Jew and entrepreneur.
Wife, mother, and what Jew?
Out Jew.
Okay.
You may know that this is an era where some people are afraid to be who they are.
And I
in
love
the Jewish
that you
community.
do things for the intention and not the attention. That's just so many people are out there doing that. And that's where, if in squad, you've heard me talk that if you live intentionally, the imposter syndrome goes away because it just does. And like I used to have a thing, Carol, where I'd be on stage and I'd be like, there's CEOs, there's people out there that could spank me with their wallet. What are they going to learn from me? And like, luckily, a very seasoned speaker is like, Ferg, what's going on? And I'm like, dude, do I belong here? And he's like, what's your intention today? I'm like, to have one person leave with my level up that I have. Lean into that. And ever since then, I don't have a problem getting in front of people because I attach my confidence to my intentions instead of my capabilities. Like so many people do that. And
I gather the data is that the only difference between successful entrepreneurs and all the people stuck in imposter syndrome is that entrepreneurs feel that and are willing to just continue with that discomfort.
Yeah.
I felt every course I sold on a live event, I likened it to tightrope walking across the Grand Canyon.
Yeah.
I was completely terrified. I'm not a seller. Anything could go wrong technically. This course could not sell. And it's just the willingness to continue and do it.
Love it.
And I had special needs kids who could have screaming tantrums at any moment while I was trying to do that in the background. And
your resilience is just amazing.
You just have to get
persistence.
Yeah, you're just willing to be uncomfortable with it and continue. And the other thing I want to say about community, that the payoff for going the community direction is the opportunity to impact many lives instead of a few. You can coach 25 people this year for $10,000, or you can influence 14,000 people over the course of a few years, which is what I did in Freelance Writers Den. And that is what I wanted. I wanted to change my industry. I wanted to get a lot of people understanding their value, charging what they're worth, shutting down scams. And you can't do that as a high ticket coach. That's not, you can't have that level of influence.
I love that you're saying that because a lot of coaches that'll get in to the game, they're like, oh, I'm blessed that for now, 16 years later, I can charge.
Right.
But I remember doing $5 sessions, man. And I'm not even lying. Be like, oh, just buy me a Starbucks. Do that. And now I'm blessed to have a solid 5-figure a month per client, right? But not 5-figure, 4-figure minimum, sorry, per client. But it started with just really leaning into my intentions of having and helping them. Time to Shine Today podcast Varsity Squad. We are back. And Miss Carol, one of these days I'm going to see you on the road and we're going to sit down, have a coffee or something and wrap. And I'm going to ask you some of these questions and we'll take 15, 20 minutes on them. But today you got 5 seconds with no explanations. I promise you they can be answered that way. You ready to level up?
I'm ready. You did not tell me there would be a lightning round in my defense.
Here it goes. I don't tell anybody. Nope. This is it. It's my show. Just kidding. So, Carol, what's the best leveling up advice you've ever received?
Hire more people.
Yes. So share one of your personal habits that contributes to your success.
As they say in the Great Lebowski, Shomer and Shabbos, I am offline for 25 hours in a row, Friday night to Saturday night.
That's beautiful.
Try it. You'll like it.
That's awesome. See me walking down the street or you see me at an event or see me on the road and you're like, Fergie looks like he's in his doldrums. Is there any book that you've read that maybe shifted a little bit in your mindset?
You want to read a book called The Choice, Embrace the Possible by I think it's by Edith Eva Eggers. I'm going to look it up.
Gotcha. Nope, we got to keep the lightning round going.
Egger, yeah,
Edith
the
Egger,
choice
okay.
embrace the
Donnie, put that in the
possible.
show notes, please. Okay, your most commonly used emoji, if any, when you text.
The wink.
Love it. Nicknames growing up?
My Girl Scout nickname
5
was
seconds. It's a
Munchkin.
nickname. Huh?
Munchkin. That
Munchkin,
was
love it.
on my camp jacket.
Love it. Any hidden talent or superpower that nobody knows about until now?
I have nursed an adopted baby.
Wow.
You
That's
can.
beautiful. Wow. Chess, checkers, or Monopoly?
Monopoly.
Got it. Headline for your life.
Crazy old lady starts business.
Love it. That's awesome. That works. I'll take the old off of it. Just crazy lady. I'm just kidding. How about go-to ice cream flavor?
Mint chocolate chip, usually.
Awesome. We're friends now. Absolutely. There's a sandwich called the Carol Munchkin. Build that sandwich. What are we eating?
It's like probably a good quality cheese with a lot of veggies and pesto.
Ooh, love me some pesto. Beautiful. Favorite charity and or organization like to give your time and or money to?
Democracy Forward.
Love it. Last question. This one's a fun one for you. You can elaborate a little bit on this one, but what's the best decade of music? 60s, 70s, 80s, or 90s?
Ooh, I'm going to have to go with 60s for that.
Okay. Very cool. Very cool. Why?
Because that's what we listen to. We have the Alexa. I could make it play any decade, and I'd say that's the one we play the most,
so
even
funny
though I
you say
love
that, yeah.
parts of all those.
Yeah, when I'll listen, I have an awesome production team when they set the podcast up for me to listen to, and then I actually build my own show notes. They do the rest of it. The rest of the magic's them. But I actually have the 70s on because in the 70s, and I have the 70s, they tell stories. The Eagles, Seeger, but I'm a product of the 80s and so much happened. And so all those decades are just awesome. But Miss Carol, how can we find you?
You can find me at Community Growth Academy on Skool. Go to the About page and get free stuff and
Squad,
check
if
it
you're
out.
watching either on the Spotify video or on Vimeo or YouTube, she will have another subscriber here coming up, and she gives away a lot of free stuff and free information that's there. And so when people join the Community Growth Academy, what can they expect?
They get a free monthly Q&A. They have full access to the forums and access to the first couple modules in our classroom to figure out what your community should be, how it'll be different from what's already out there.
Gotcha. And this is something that's, I believe, is on your website now or something, but is this for them to get a case study? And tell us a little bit about the case study that they're going to get for free.
This is in great detail how I built and sold Freelance Writers Den.
Really?
Yeah. Wow. All the behind the scenes insanity.
Wow. And that's amazing. So Squad, that's an excellent freebie because there's knowledge nuggets that are buried in there that I'm going to dive into it on my flight this afternoon. Absolutely. And also she does have her LinkedIn page. Like I know one of her authors that she's written for, and also a YouTube community as well. But make sure you check the show notes, especially for the one I have on screen here, and opt in and get that free case study, and then also pop into her Skool as well. And Miss Carol, can you please do us one last solid and leave us with one last knowledge nugget we can take with us, internalize, and take action on?
Think about what you want out of your business. Just talking to you, Scott, I'm thinking about how I ended up in community. Wanted to make a big impact, reliable income, less marketing. Those are the 3 legs of my triad. What's yours? What are the things that are important to you about how the business operates and how you will show up in the world, and design your business around that?
Oh my gosh, that's so basically saying design your business how you want to show up in the world. Like my why is super simple. It's to be useful. It is, right? And so it's actually how I built my coaching business as well, but I didn't know I was doing it that way until you just said that. So design a business of how you want to show up in the world. Okay, let me see. All right, beautiful. And Squad, sorry if we went a little long today, but I'm just super enthralled in building a community. Like a Skool community is on my radar as well. I'm blessed to all these subscribers out there, which will bring you into the community as well. Maybe even have Carol share in the community a little bit when I launch it. You have to protect your bandwidth. She says a lot of people pour into the community and that's all that they live. They just stay in there the whole time. But get in there, learn, give, and then get out and go and enjoy your life. I heard a lot of her say she worked her day job, but she minded her own business. She made sure the money was coming in for the family and building it up while she was still building a business on the side. Also, I said it before, and I'll always say it, you'll never outperform your inner circle. Get with people like Carol, like other people that are out there doing it, because you'll never outperform anybody. You hear the whole cliche, I can tell you how much money you make, you show me your 5 closest friends. It's the truth. And not just the money you make, it's the family you keep, the friends you keep, and whatnot. We can tell a lot about each other with that. If Carol had to start over, she would do the 3 things and she rattled them off. There was no, if she said, get around people you trust, survey them, and build it. And there's more to that, but just go back and listen to that again. Free community addresses the trust crisis. I love that because so many people in there want to go and blow up this $10,000 offer. Join a community, give within that community, and then eventually, once they know and trust you even more, the higher ticket items, they have no problem spending their money on. And she reminded us of 2 types of experts. The one that has the expertise that you follow and gets you there, or the ones that are like, learn along with me. And I've unabashedly, I'm sorry, I have been that learn along with me on a couple things in my life, and it never worked out. So Carol really called me out on that. That's awesome. She wants you to do business your own way, right? If people are doing it, if you can build an audience, if people are out there doing it, you can build your own audience too. Carol's planting trees she's never going to sit in the shade of with this, right? She does things, again, for the intention, not the attention. And she's going to be remembered as a wife, a mother, and an out Jew, which I have to look that up, and this is awesome. And think about what you really want in a business, and then get after it from a mindset and a place of service, and go serve people and build that business. And that's what my good friend Carol does. She levels up her health. She levels up her wealth. She's awesome. She's on the road, living her life. And thank you so much. I'm so blessed that you came on, Carol, and I cannot wait to collaborate with you in the future.
Same. I feel like I'm so glad I met you, and I'm looking forward to getting to know some of your people.
Yay! Awesome. Talk soon. Hey, thanks so much for listening to this episode of Time to Shine Today, proudly brought to you by Inlet Properties and Investments. If you are a business owner or professional who would like to be interviewed on the Time to Shine Today podcast, please visit timetoshinetoday.com/guest. If you like this episode, please subscribe on Apple Podcasts, YouTube Podcasts, Stitcher, Spotify, iHeartRadio, or wherever you get your podcasts. There's a link in the show notes to our website. Also, there you will see our recommended resources. We hope you will help support our show by supporting them. If you like what you have been listening to, it'd be great if you could give us a 5-star rating and tell your friends how to subscribe while you're at it. I'm your host, Scott Ferguson, and until next time, let's level up. It's your time to shine.